ridiculously old cadaver to be wearing a Call of Duty beanie, that can only mean one thing. It's grind my gear time, and we're going to do that together today, right here on GearGasms. Hi everybody, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. Today, it's Grind My Gear episode number... I'm not even really sure what the episode number is, and you're probably not sure what Grind My Gear is, and I'm going to tell you in just a second. But first, if you're new to the channel, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe. This channel, it's kind of like those mixed drinks that you make at home. Like any of us really know how to muddle, celebrate mediocrity. And speaking of mediocrity, this series is something I directly stole from Fluff. It represents the absolute bottom of the barrel for creativity. It's something I could shoot fast, easy, lazily, and you could certainly tell by the numbers that this series gets. But that don't matter as long as I get enough of you people to send me your potato can pictures of your gear, and then I can look at them for the first time and try to find funny things to say about them and get filthy rich. If you want to send me those tater can pics, I got the email address linked in the description as always, but I know a lot of y'all can't read, so it's firehouse5150@hotmail.com. Yes, I let the shame of having Hotmail wash over me. And speaking of having shame that washes over us, let's get right into it. First up on the list, it is a personal friend of mine, Part Kingery. I know I don't normally identify these things, but he decided to flex and send a shit ton of pictures. So you're gonna get names, son. Now, first of all of these pictures have the same amp.
Busted.
And so we'll just hit them real quick. Origin 50, 2 oranges, man, the Rock of Urban, a Super Crush. He's got a 5150, iconic. He's got, looks like the PV6505 over there, Marshall cab. Let's start with the guitars. This technique is some kind of a system where you burn into the wood somehow, you shoot electricity or some kind of fire into it, and it makes these lightning type streaks, which is really crazy and really beautiful. I like it on the light colored one. I don't on this one over here. This poor thing, oh, it could have been so pretty, and instead it's like, oh, there's this better looking sister over here. I think it's the fact that the humbuckers are so close together. Something about that skeezes me out. But look at the beautiful neck on this one. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. And of course, he's made his own logo to put on some of these too, which is very, very cool. Isn't that a dream of all of us guitar players to have our own logo on the headstock? We'll look again at another custom piece of work. Look at that purple peeps. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. And a scallop neck. Okay, now here's another great example of maybe this technique applied to a guitar that it fits more. That is just super cool looking. Looks like he did his own burst there. Maybe he sponged it. He did not spray that. A for effort. I love the color combination though, and I love those inlays. Aren't they gorgeous? I love everything about both of these guitars. I love the finish. I love this color, the wood. But let's talk about that jewelry, son. They look like, just like those creeps, those dudes that wear too much bling. I'm just not sure about it. I know what you're going for there, but oh, wouldn't you cut yourself on that? The skull wings around a middle pickup. First of all, ain't nothing satanic, demonic, or even half-ass scary about a middle pickup, but yet we've got skull wings. Now, I'll give you credit. When you go in a direction, you go, son. You go all the way. Oh, I just love everything about this. And I almost like the bling on this just seems to work a little bit better for me on this. But I'm still scared of cutting myself. I love those knobs.
That's what she said.
BC Rich headstock had a stroke. And it's not good. Not a good stroke. That kind of stroke. We got 3 ESPs. See that cutaway on this guitar? It's got like a little PRS type scoop behind it. But if you just back up and look at the angle of that dangle, that looks like something you put in your butt, son. Looks like one of them things that's supposed to go in the top, in the window. And it also has like an attachment below it that goes into the crawl space door. Are you following me? 3 songs I would grind on this gear would be Funeralopolis by Electric Wizard, Universal Truth by Opeth, and Just Dance by Gaga. Oh, next up, it is a flex. I know what you're saying. It's like, what's flexy about that? 4 guitars, and a bass. But here's what's flex. Let's talk about the guitars first. You got you a Relic P bass. Why would anyone relic a bass? Loser. Why would anyone relic anything? God bless America. Posers. Oh, I love that Jazzmaster. Got a Telly there, plain old butterscotch Telly. Looks like another Relic Stevie Ray Vaughan-esque Strat there. And then, of course, the 335 in the back. He's got not one, but 2 Milkmen.
Nice.
I love the colors on those. I've never seen that particular amp before. I'm assuming they're sort of like Fender mods, Fender replicas. Is that a deluxe reverb that he's got there, a real one, or is that the Milkman deluxe reverb? And then what is this? A Victoria, which again is probably a boutique version of a God-blessed Blues Junior. Tell me you paid too much for your Blues Junior without telling me you paid too much for your Blues Junior.
Roasted.
It doesn't look like it's prime space in his house, so it kind of tells you where his music stuff stands in the pecking order of things, stuck him right by an old radiator and some busted up table.
This is your mom.
No, but it's antique and it belonged to my grandmother. All right, yeah, whatever, it's garbage. All these pedals. There's an Eventide in there and it's just sitting in a drawer. These patch cables remind me of when I was super poor and I had to buy the very cheapest Radio Shack patch cables for my patch bay, but up here, this is where it's at. Chase Bliss. Aren't they purty? Look at all those knobs. That's my point. I can't fuck with Chase Bliss. All those knobs, bro.
Sexy time.
Do I look smart to you? How would you ever deal with this on your board on a live rig unless you had some specific recipe that you set up and that you marked everything just so and dared no one to touch these settings? I'm sure these are great at home, but oh, look, even buttons on the front. How many fucking buttons can you put on a pedal? There's buttons and holes and switches everywhere on these things. 3 songs I would grind on this gear would be Texas Flood by SRV, Pump It Up by Elvis Costello, and In the Club by Fitty. Into the basement we go. It's a crawl space, perhaps. First of all, A for effort in terms of finding space for your guitars in the house. You didn't have to use a stud finder to hang them guitar hangers. Now here's what scares me about the way these guitars are hung. Ain't they gonna swing a little bit and maybe hit those guitars behind them? Just the way the shadows are, I can see that Les Paul smacking the fingerboard of that Telly. Love the SG with a single pickup there. He's got a gold top Les Paul. We got the plain old white Fender Telly, which is super boring. He has the Epiphone, now known as the Adam Jones. Probably got this when it was just a silver burst. This basement though. First of all, this house has some serious wiring in it. Kudos to that. You see all that colored cable in there? That tells me they got all the fancy stuff. They probably got Alexa, they probably got Sirius, they probably got Wi-Fi, they probably got Cat 5, they probably got the cable television. But what a sad place to keep your guitars, man. Nothing good happens down in basements. Just let me tell you that. People get molested in basements. People hide bodies in basements. Oh, people cook meth in basements. People put all their old kid junk toys in basements. Thank you for not throwing that away, Mom and Dad. It really means a lot to me, that thing I f***ed with when I was like 1 or 2 years old. Cool guitars, shit environment. 3 songs I would grind on this gear would be Rats in the Cellar by Aerosmith, One by Metallica, and Please Don't Go by Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's a Jeffrey Dahmer reference. This is an interesting space, much cleaner, nicer space. Looks like he has actually some legit space in the house. Is this the first time we've come out of the basement today? Maybe. This isn't the main part of the house. This guy has status. The old orange AD30, it's been a minute since I've seen one of those. That is super cool looking though. Can you get any more poser than this Jazzmaster? Oh, I hate these where we're gonna tell a story with this relic job. And the story is, it was originally a 3-tone sunburst, and then the owner decided they didn't like it, and then they put shell pink over top of it. The pied de résistance of poserness. That sticker.
Oh, man.
Come on, son. Do you really expect us to believe that you bought this in 1964? I love walnut finish, but this top is so disappointing. It is so plain Jane. It's almost Amish in its lack of flame or grain or usually walnut is so pretty that it's so disappointing. So disappointing. This pedal board, but this is one of these prefab pedal boards that we all hate. They came out early on. It's got an integrated power supply and you can but look, here's the problem with that. These things were cut for a single size of pedal, and everybody knows there's no such thing as a single size of pedal. But there's no excuse, even with that situation, for this pedal board to look like that. It's like, did you go out of your way just to make it look sped? Everything's crooked. I love those patch cables though. I don't know. What you got? Let's look at it. It's got the T-Rex. It's got the old Vox, like time machines. It's got the orange foot switch like I do. Tube screamer. Oh, so boring. Your house is tight though. And then finally, what is this foam log? What is it? It's like one of those things you put under your knees while your old lady's giving you a back rub or something. Or no, I guess you'd have to be laying on your back. She's giving you a front rub. You put your knees up on it. You know, no one wants to have their knees flat out when they're, you know, getting that Robert Kraft thing done. 3 songs I would grind on this gear would be Do Wah Diddy Diddy by Manfred Mann, You Enjoy Myself by Fish, Ms. Jackson by Outkast. Last but not least, this room is cool as shit, people. He's got, it looks like, you know, a couple guitars that we can't see. Is that a Strat over there besides the Epi Les Paul? But he's got some killer gear. He's got the DSL 40 head. Is that the 40? I think so. With stuff written all over it. The dude is serious about his settings. He's got, looks like a couple of, was like direct boxes there. That's interesting. I have no idea what this box next to it is. First of all, what the hell? Come on! Is this taken on a boat and you're pitched this way when the photograph is taken? You make it extremely difficult for me to do my job. Let's get into them pedals. The ones we can see. Good God, look at that big ass pedal. That twin turbo. I know I think it's like a 2 preamp or something, correct me if I'm wrong. That's just too much, bro. It's too much. Got tremolo pedal, digital delay, keeps it simple, Octron. Very cool curly cable dude's a hipster. He has either a volume or a wah pedal stuck in there. He's a hipster. He's a hipster. Look at this shit on the top. This is very cool stuff, especially if it works. A real deal, reel to reel. That sounds crazy. I didn't even plan to do that. Ain't I great? Reel to deal. Got some super old rat gear. Don't know if it works or if he's just posing with it. This thing has actual tape on it. I would like to hear what music's on that reel to reel. We don't have to care what's on that reel to reel because 3 songs I would grind on this gear would be You Are What You Is by Frank Zappa, Love Hurts by Nazareth, and Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. What did we learn today? We learned that there are some people out there that want to mark up the face of their guitar permanently and they want to slap all these piercings all over it and tattoo and burn stuff into the faces of their guitars. It's kind of like Post Malone meets that weird kid that works down at Hot Topic. We also learned this week that basements and attics are still a thing. Musicians cannot seem to find their place amongst the decent people in the house. And last, I don't even know why I'm going to bring it up again. Those pictures, please, for the love of God, you want to show me your shit? That's cool. Take a good picture of it. And no, I'm not talking about hovering over your toilet with an old Polaroid that your grandma left you. I'm talking about your gear. As always, I thank you for the time that you spend with the channel. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Tell some of your ratty-ass basement dweller, attic living, ratchet, Section 8 trailer park friends about this show. They'll fit in here perfectly. You can buy some merch, and I know some of you are, but what you're not doing is you're not sending me pictures of you all in that merch. Come on now. Send me pictures of your gear, and also send me pictures of you in my gear. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, send me some pictures of your gear, yo, that makes sense. No, I'm not burning a valuable joke at the end of this bullshit series. Nobody's watching at this point. Not even the YouTube AI scans this far into the video. But play more guitar. Watch less of this. Keep coming back here week after week for more GearGasms.